Our topic this week is art and development. Art is an important part of creativity, although we know that it is often overstated as well, as in, I'm not creative, and people mean I'm not a good visual artist. But being able to represent ourselves through different types of art is definitely a creative process. When we talk about art, we're talking about a lot of freedom and choice versus crafts, where we're trying to get everyone to do the same product at the end. So with art, there's lots of choice. With crafts, we're looking at, everyone making the same penguin design. We really want to stay away from crafts and stick with arts where there's lots and lots of choice and materials and freedom in how to demonstrate what they're trying to create. We need to honor and respect and bring joy to students and what they've created, asking questions about their use of color or to tell us about their pictures. Recognizing that there's going to be wide ranges in terms of development and the ability to create within an individual classroom as well. And a lot of this has to do with large and small motor development. You can observe how a child's doing with large and small motor development through things like how they're holding on to paintbrushes or crayons, how they're able to put things together for eating or for building with things like Legos, and just recognizing that that is going to show up within their art as well. And so meeting them while they're at where they're at, and really celebrating what they can create largely on their own as well. If they're wanting a little bit of support, we could do some hand over hand support for a little bit, but it should be largely independent. And we can continue to give them exposure and experiences to things that will continue to help with their motor development. But when it comes to art, just celebrating where they're at is what we want to do. There are different stages of art that have been documented by a variety of individuals, but we know that starting as young as 1 year and then definitely at the toddler years, closer to 2 and beyond, we start with scribbles. But what might start by looking very disordered and kind of random, we can see becomes more and more controlled even within the scribbling. It's the same thing as language development with babies, where at first we might hear any number of sounds, and then even when they're still using baby talk, we can hear more coordinated sounds, and it's moving through that stage. By 3, a lot of children can start to develop basic forms, usually starting with the circle, and then later moving toward rectangles and squares, and that really has to do with motor development there as well. In those ages of toddlers through preschool, they may end up destroying their work in the process, and recognizing that that's okay as well. It really is the process and not the product or what it looks like at the end that matters. By 4, we can start seeing more representation, using of lines and circles and so on, putting 2 or more things together to create a picture in the sense of what we think of it for older children and adults. And then by 4 to 6, it becomes more and more detailed and realistic over time. Children pre-plan. They're much less likely also to destroy their work through the process. What we need to remember always is it is not the product, it is the process. And so celebrating that and keeping children confident and excited about their own artwork is very important. As children become older, they become more and more self-critical, and so we really want to be the voice moving away from that it's about just experiencing it and exploring with art. The more we can worry, or not worry rather, about messes, the better. So thinking about particular areas and, using smocks and using maybe large pieces of wrapping paper or butcher paper where they can really just get into their artwork and not be really concerned about making a mess, that's going to be better. And I know that's hard for some teachers based on our own particular desires for our classroom, but figuring out how we can do that so children can really fully experience it. Making sure that a lot of originality and independence is a large focus of this, And also know that these activities are still going to be very short for young children, some shorter than others based on their particular needs, their attention spans, and so on. So figuring out opportunities for how can we do quick cleanup, how can we move into other activities when children are ready to be done.